When I was playing through Astrobot at the end of 2024, I stumbled on a little tribute level that let you play a diet version of an Ape Escape level, which brought back a tidal wave of nostalgic emotions to my heart. And that got me thinking. I loved Ape Escape 3 growing up because it was a game my sister and I would play for hours on end back when I was in grade school. And as much as we played it, we never finished it. And I barely even touched Ape Escape 2 when I got it. And that felt strange to me, like I left something unfinished that suddenly needed to be rectified. And not long after that, one day I was browsing the PlayStation Store on my PS5 and I saw that they had the first game in the series on the store. And I thought, why not catch some apes? Yeah, I gotta talk about this series. With the aforementioned Astrobot Ape Escape level and Metal Gear Solid Delta bringing back the snake versus monkey mode, it got me extremely hopeful that maybe, just maybe, Sony may at least toy with the idea of making a new Ape Escape. Like, it has to be at least on their radar now, right? And I figured that if I even want the tiniest chance of a new game in one of my new favorite series to drop, I gotta get some people to play these games, so I can have more Ape Escape. So enough monkeying around, and let's get into this little retrospective, shall we? As far as plot goes, it's fairly simple, but I don't find that to be a detriment because I'm more interested in going on a monkey hunt. But I'll give you the rundown anyway. Our story kicks off with these two boys named Spike and Jake. Kids with the two most 90s sounding names ever running towards the professor's lab to check out his newest invention. What professor, you ask? The professor! You know, this guy!
The professor? Natalie's grandfather?
Yeah, him. Anyway, when Spike and Jake get to the lab, the professor tells them that Spectre, a monkey from the circus, found a prototype helmet that turns you into a genius when being worn. When Spectre put it on, he immediately became sentient and evil. Which really makes you question how the staff at the circus were treating him for making him want to conquer humanity as soon as he could form a conscious thought, but I guess we aren't going to talk about that. Or question how he got the helmet in the first place. Spectre pulls a Planet of the Apes and makes more of the helmets to create an army of them. And then he breaks into the professor's lab and uses his time machine to rewrite history and turn the modern world into an ape ethno-state. Oh yeah, and he captured and lobotomized Jake, but he'll be alright. And after this game, he'll never be seen again, so not like it matters anyway. So now it's up to Spike to capture all the apes and put a stop to Spectre's evil plan. Luckily, he'll have help from the professor, Natalie, and I don't know who that is. And that's about it for the plot, so now we can get on to the game itself. I feel like this was Sony's answer to making their own Banjo-Kazooie or Super Mario 64. Just think of the monkeys as power stars, but with little old monkey legs running around. The first game feels more like your regular old run-of-the-mill video game compared to the zaniness of the other two games in the trilogy, which I'll go more into later, but just because this one isn't as wacky and creative as its sequels, doesn't mean it had no impact. No siree. Let me ask you something. Do you folks like dual analog sticks? Well, then you have Ape Escape to thank for that. Sort of, as this game was the first game ever that required a dual analog stick to play. And this game was a great showcase for what dual analog sticks could do. And yeah, analog sticks were a thing already, but they hadn't been perfected yet. I mean, take the N64 controller. It had an analog stick, but it was just the one. And as much as I love the N64, this controller has not aged well. Nostalgia may blind me, but it doesn't take away my sense of touch. And this controller just isn't comfortable to use, and the stick just isn't very high quality at all. It feels so weightless, and there have been many times that I would mess up in a game because of the stick. That isn't the case with the DualShock here. The placement of the sticks are in really comfortable spots, so my hands aren't stretching out like a crab claw. And also the sticks themselves are of a much higher quality. They're more stiff and feel like they follow my thumb movements more accurately. And this design obviously stuck because they haven't changed the standard layout of the DualShock controllers at all. This is my favorite line of controllers, no doubt, GameCube controller being a very close second. And while the DualShock wasn't made for Ape Escape, I definitely think it played its part in getting it popularized. And the game is definitely built around this controller. Each of the little gadgets you get are utilized by using the right stick, and the way each gadget functions feels so creative. None of the gadgets in this game feel like filler gadgets, which is not something I can say about Ape Escape 2, unfortunately. Every gadget feels like it can be used for multiple purposes. One of my favorites being the Super Hoop. Not only is it an effective way to chase and stun the faster monkeys, it's a great tool to use defensively if you utilize its speed to dodge fast projectiles and other quick hazards. And this never stops being the case throughout the rest of the trilogy. You can never go wrong with having the super hoop at the ready.
I just hope you can stand the sound!
Alright, I gotta get the negatives out of the way before I go back to the positives. While the game has excellent audio quality, this does not correlate with the voice acting performances. I find it hard to believe that Spike and Jake are 10 years old when they sound like grown-ass men.
Back in time? He said he'd be finished with it today. Let's go.
I can't wait to check out the dinosaurs. And what about the future?
Yeah, we'll keep talking because I'm going first.
Spectre doesn't fare much better. He sounds like he works at a bank.
I'm sorry, Professor, but it's too late. I've already made duplicate helmets for my new army of apes. There's no stopping us now. The future is mine!
Now the professor needs to speak up when he's talking. You, sir, are a man of science that invented a time machine. That should give you some pride when you're giving me my objectives.
Something awful has happened. There's been an accident. The time station has been activated by Spectre and you're
What's
being
that?
transported back in time.
Can you speak
You'll
up?
soon arrive in the
I
lost
can't
land
hear
of
you over the
dinosaurs
music.
on the Earth.
And the worst thing this game forces upon you is the Gadget trainer. Ugh. Every time you get a new gadget, the professor whispers to you that you have to test out every new gadget in the training room before advancing to the next level, which is such a pace breaker on repeat playthroughs. Luckily, every game after this one lets you skip the training if you wanna. You also have to play around this black void that covers up things that are too far away. But I'm not stupid. I know this is just a purely technical thing that was a product of its time. It just makes things hard to see where you're going sometimes. It's by no means a deal breaker. I understand it's just old school rendering techniques at work here. And my main issue with the game overall is just some of that old fashioned jank. It doesn't ruin the game for me at all. It just makes it to where I have no desire whatsoever to complete it. Which is probably more of a problem with my patience than the game itself. And this roller coaster section is just the worst. And honestly, that's all the negative I have to say for this one, really. I pretty much only have positive things to say about the game from here on out. The levels are so bright and colorful and fun to navigate. And the further you get into the game, the more they lean into the time travel theme by letting you go to a wider variety of places. And when you get back to the modern day, you go to freaking space. And a theme park, I guess, but space is cooler. And occasionally you'll run into Jake, who will challenge you to a race through an interstellar obstacle course, and I don't really like these. But the awesome thing is you don't have to win these to beat the game, so that gets an instant thumbs up from me. And after you save him, Jake conveniently doesn't remember anything he did while working with Spectre, which I'm gonna call bullshit on that one, since he talks like he and Spike have always been competitors whenever he's taunting you. So I've got my eyes on you, you little twerp. Maybe that's why Spike stopped hanging out with him after this game. Maybe he figured out he was lying. After you save Jake and you catch all the monkeys and all that stuff's said and done, you finally make it to Spectre's space base. And he tells Spike that he's overreacting. And he literally invited him here, so he didn't have to just come in and destroy the place.
You didn't have to blow everything apart. I told you the door would be open. I only wanted to talk to you. That's why I invited you in.
So naturally, we blow up his Ava and capture him and save the day. And then we head home to get a warm welcome from our friends and our happy ending.
He got away.
I think that what makes this series work at its core is its creativity. And while the first game is my least favorite in the series, it's still an incredibly strong start to an astoundingly fun trilogy. And honestly, the only thing keeping me from catching all the monkeys is that old game jank. Which, this is the only game I didn't go back and catch all the monkeys and rematch Spectre in. But just playing the game till credits is a lot of fun, and the other two games couldn't have worked as well as they did without this game coming out the gate swinging as hard as it did. And my least favorite Ape Escape is still like an 8 out of 10, so that should tell you how highly I regard this series, and Ape Escape 2 just improves everything that did work and fixed everything that didn't work the first time around. I know I probably didn't have too much to say about Ape Escape 1, and it's mainly just because everything that I could say about it, the sequels just do better. And they definitely got the main thing right of just making the monkeys satisfying to catch. Finding their little hiding spaces and what they're doing, seeing how to get to them if they're behind a wall or something. It's just satisfying. And yeah, I don't have as much to say about Ape Escape 1. Mainly because I wanted to make this video to primarily talk about Ape Escape 2 and 3. So as much as I love Ape Escape 1, I think I want to go ahead and get into Ape Escape 2 if it's all the same to you. The story this time immediately goes for a more cartoonish, goofy tone, and that's exactly what the series needed to do. I really like the more cartoonish tone these games take from here on out. It makes more sense to me. And in this game, Spike got replaced by his better in every way cousin, Jimmy, who actually has a personality, unlike Spike, who is about as interesting as a wet paper bag. Jimmy here is a moron, and we love him for it. While making a teleportation delivery of pants over to Monkey Park as an errand for the professor,
The professor? Natalie's grandfather?
he accidentally teleported monkey helmets along with him, and as a surprise to no one, Spectre finds one and immediately starts plotting world domination again by building an orbital cannon that will turn the people of Earth lazy. Huh. You got a lot more of a humble plan this time, don't you, Spectre? Last time you used a time machine to rewrite history to make apes rule the world, and this time you just want people to sit around? I mean, I guess that would make conquer the world easier. It just feels like a step down from your last plan, which, hey, they can't all be winners. It's just an observation. Oh yeah, the plot. After Natalie kindly tells Jimmy that he's an idiot that's doomed us all, she sends him to go clean up the mess he made and put an end to all the monkey business along with his little freak of nature, Pippochi. And she would prefer they do it before the professor gets back from his trip, who we later figure out was just hanging out at the casino. And this time it's going to be more of a challenge because this time Spectre has help from the Freaky Monkey 5, and these guys are great. They add a lot of character to the series, kind of like Team Rocket almost. There's Blue Monkey, the speed demon, Monkey White, the mad scientist, Pink Monkey, the pop star, Monkey Red, the leader, and Yellow Monkey, the sexual predator.
What's wrong with this monkey?
And the 5 are going to be our roadblocks on our way to capturing Spectre and destroying the lethargy laser. Again, a fairly simple plot, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. That's what I love about this series. It feels like I'm playing a Saturday morning cartoon. Especially in this one, it is brimming with nostalgia. The voice talent here is insane, with some of my favorite voice actors from my childhood playing the main characters this time around. Jimmy's played by Veronica Taylor. Dan Green voices the professor.
The professor? Natalie's grandfather?
And Natalie herself is played by the late, great Rachel Lillis, which makes me both happy and sad. She was a treasure, honestly, and it was great hearing her performance again. And this ever-present feeling of playing a cartoon stays with the series from here on out. And that's not just in the cutscenes, the overall presentation follows this feeling. The level design in this game is so much fun. You get to go to all kinds of different places, from pyramids to pirate ships. Sky's the limit with the level design here. And Jimmy controls like a dream. It feels like the devs took the inventive control scheme from 1 and fine-tuned it to perfection. And that improvement doesn't go unnoticed, trust me, it doesn't. I just love the way this game plays. I can really feel the care that went into this. And the lab is so relaxing, just like the first one, but visually it's more appealing to look at. And the calm music makes me just want to sit here and think for a while. And it's nice that there's a lot more to do in the lab this time. You can use your coins on the Gotcha machine to get all kinds of cool stuff to fill the gallery with. And with how simple it is, I have an actual compulsion to collect all this stuff. I love seeing the little puzzle pieces fill out in the back. Again, presentation's everything for me, honestly. The soundtrack is super laid back too, not just for the lab, all the levels. Pretty calming. And in general, the game feels relaxing to play. Nothing here feels like it's meant to stress you out. It seems like good times were the priority here. Almost feels like the game is saying, welcome home, relax, and come catch some apes, buddy. Which contrasts with the super high energy of 3, and I love the energy of both games. But if I want to be more calm and relaxed, I would play 2. I only have one real complaint with Ape Escape 2. Like I mentioned earlier, this game has some gadgets that really feel like they were filler. Like the water cannon, or the banana ring. Some of these felt like they only had specific uses and couldn't really be multi-purposed like the gadgets from 1. Which sucks when you have to go in and out of the gadget menu to select a gadget that you're only going to use for like a few seconds at the most. Luckily, this problem doesn't come back in 3, so I think the devs realized that and just focused on the core gadgets. But at the same time, unlocking new gadgets that you can take back to the old levels isn't new to the series. It was there in the first game, so it kind of has a Metroidvania feeling to it, because you'll get a new gadget, and remember you could use it for something you couldn't get earlier. It's cooler if you think about it that way, I guess. I just wish the filler gadgets had more functions outside of super specific uses, but other than that, I have no negative notes on Ape Escape 2. This game is a blast all the way through, and it doesn't really get difficult until the moon base. And this stage is an excellent final level. It challenges your use of your platforming and gadget skills, making you utilize everything you've learned up to this point. And it's a long one, so make sure you set aside some time to tackle this stage, because you're going to be here a while. But me personally, I welcome the challenge, and it's a good thing I do, because the final boss with Spectre and his big monkey robot is actually a really good challenge. You really have to learn its attacks and be careful to not let it crush the platforms under you, but if you play it smart, you'll be able to win. And if you die, it isn't always the end immediately, because Pipochi can sometimes revive you once per life, and that can really come in clutch. But keep at it and you'll beat the bot and catch Spectre in no time. And then we head back to Earth after fixing the problem that we caused.
Come now. You didn't think I just let myself be captured, did you, Jimmy?
I actually went back through all the levels and caught all the remaining monkeys this time. And I got to use the post-game gadget, the Magic Punch, which you only get after clearing the game. I didn't really bother with it in Ape Escape 1, but since I was actually doing the post-game cleanup this time around, I got my use out of it. The Magic Punch is essentially a more powerful stun club that's harder to aim, but required to get some of the last hidden monkeys. And after catching all 300 of these goobers, I had my rematch with Spectre, and holy shit is he difficult. I was on this fight for like an hour. If you thought the robot was tough, you ain't ready for this fight. But I eventually got him with help from Pipochi. Patience is key here. Don't get greedy, play defensively, and hit him when you get a chance. Then you got it. And once you do, you get a pretty neat reward for getting the true ending. For New Game Plus, you get to play as Spike, and Jesus Christ, he's horrifying! No! Go back to PS1 where you belong, you demon! This is a pretty cool reward for New Game Plus, though, I gotta admit. It would be even cooler if I had any emotional attachment to Spike whatsoever, but it's the thought that counts. I love Ape Escape 2. It would be my favorite in the franchise, but it just can't keep up with Ape Escape 3, baby. What sets this game apart from 1 and 2, and what makes it my favorite in the trilogy, is the presentation. This game just feels like a burst of energy and creativity. Whereas Ape Escape 2 reminded me of watching cartoons on a Saturday morning, Ape Escape 3 elicits the same feeling of being a kid and drinking 3 sodas and just having fun with the sugar rush. And the best part is, there's no crash. This game has next to no flaws at all. It's just pure fun from beginning to end, and I can't compliment the soundtrack enough. It's incredible. Each track gives me this warm and energetic feeling that's so inviting, and each track perfectly matches the level or locale it accompanies. And the level design is magnificent, with each level being an expanse of creative ideas that just keeps getting more and more unique as the game goes on, and the impressive variety in the types of places you'll visit does an excellent job of fitting the game's theme of each level being the set of a different TV channel. And this was awesome since the levels in 2 didn't really have a theme or reason behind them. There was no time machine in Ape Escape 2. You were in ancient Egypt just because. Ape Escape 3 brings back narrative purpose behind the level theming. I appreciate having an explanation for why I'm going to all these goofy places and... Was that? I didn't explain the plot. Sorry, I got a little excited. This one's a lot of fun. We'll get into that right now though. Anyway, our story this time is a lot more comical. Somehow, Spectre has returned and has let the apes escape, and they've gotten into show business. Spectre has these goobers filming TV shows that are being broadcast all over the world that are so mind-numbingly stupid that they're turning everyone into mindless couch potatoes, as Natalie puts it. And to make matters worse, Spike, Jimmy, and not Jake, see, I told you we'd never see him again, and even the Professor...
The Professor? Natalie's grandfather?
Yes, Snake. Even the Professor, into mindless couch zombies. I mean, Jimmy succumbing to brain rot, I get, but Spike and the Professor too? Come on guys, you're smarter than that. Well, with the old cast out of commission, it's up to our new protagonists, Yumi and Kay, to catch the monkeys this time, with tech support from their Aunt Aki. Focus! Anyway, Spectre's also teamed up with a human this time around.
Do you mean me, Mr. Spectre? That's right, I am human, yet the end of humanity. These monkeys have won me over. I am the ultimate scientist. I'm 28 years old, single. I'm 6'3", including hair. I'm 145 pounds, also including hair. My favorite color is turquoise, and I have an IQ of 1300. And they call me Dr. Tomoki. And don't you forget it.
What do you think you're doing? Just introduce yourself normally. Normally, cut the camera.
I thought it was an exquisite introduction.
And Tomoki here seems to have some history with Gorgeous, and he seems to have some sort of a grudge against humanity that'll be brought up later. And on top of Spectre teaming up with Tomoki, the Freaky Monkey 5 are also back and sporting some new costumes for the roles they're playing this time. Blue Monkeys is definitely the coolest because you get to have an old western standoff with him. But that's not to say that the others don't have cool boss fights too. Pink Monkey has a whole musical number during your fight like last time, except it's way better. It's actually really catchy. And Yellow Monkey has a way more fun fight this time around. It's not that his other fights aren't fun, it's just I like this one better. It's a lot quicker and kind of feels more interactive, rather than just kind of standing around waiting for an opening. But he comes off as even more of a sexual predator than normal and body shames a 10-year-old girl.
Oh yeah? Have you seen my ratings lately?
Have you seen your waistline lately?
It's even creepier if you're playing as Kay.
Oh, you're cute.
I'm checking a lot of stuff off my list today. For this adventure, you can pick between Kay or Yumi, and as a kid, I always picked Kay because I was a boy and he reminded me of Ash Ketchum. But besides having a really cool character design, he's kind of a dull character. Lunch is not a subject, dum-dum. And while Kay is boring, he does look cool. It could be worse, Kay. You could look like you came from hell. No, the correct choice is Yumi. For one thing, it makes more sense to pick her because she's a pop star and these monkeys are messing with her ratings. And this makes for a fun rivalry with Pink Monkey, who doesn't like that you're moving in on her turf. I like that each twin has different interactions with the 5. Adds a little replayability, which is nice. But Yumi has the ability to make some monkeys become starstruck when they see her, and it makes them easier to catch, which is really helpful for the football stadium in Banana Heat. And I knew I made the right choice when I saw that Yumi's first transformation she gets with the morph gauge looks like a cross between a white mage and a black mage from Final Fantasy. It's awesome! And I haven't even got into the morph gauge yet. This thing is awesome! This little device that Aki made allows the twins to transform into a whole bunch of new forms that lets them do all kinds of cool stuff, like become Hatsune Miku. My favorite is the Wild West Kid transformation, because while you're running, you can use the right analog stick to shoot at monkeys and shoot them with your dual-wield pistols. And when you get in range, you push down R3 to shoot a net and catch them. This one is without a doubt the most useful, and I would stay in this form the most, but honestly, all of them are pretty useful. Some less than others, looking at you, Genie Dancer. And if you really like the morph gauge, you can use your coins at one of the shops in the mall to upgrade the timer on the gauge. So you can stay in your favorite form for a crazy long amount of time, and oh man, I love the mall! It's got the best track in the game, and the layout of this place is so stylish. There was no need for what is essentially an upgrade and gallery shop to have such a great presentation. But Ape Escape 3 doesn't do half-assed presentation, and it's here where we can go to the Simian Cinema.
Here we bear witness to the most exquisite performances of the modern age. Breathtaking set design and phenomenal costumes. All of the elements blend together to create the perfect independent films that are only rivaled by the all-time greats.
Nah, these are stupid, but I love them anyway. You actually have to film the monkeys with these little cameras in each stage to be able to view the movies. And if you film all of them, you can actually unlock a movie editor that I believe actually requires a real film degree to use. But it's a really cool reward, you gotta admit. And when filming the apes for the Simian Cinema, make sure you don't alert or capture them, because if they aren't in front of the camera, you failed. But it's not the end of the world, because you can just do a reshoot when you unlock free play for that level. Great quality of life feature, and oh baby, while we're on topic, we finally got the best quality of life feature. Quick switching gadgets, baby. It took them 3 games, but now you can just double tap the button you want to assign a gadget to cycle through your gadgets at lightning fast speeds. No more pausing to go to the gadget menu. It's almost instantly now. I love it. And there's only the original 8 gadgets from 1. No more filler gadgets. They literally thought of everything. No magic punch for beating the game this time though, so that's kind of a shame. But instead, you get the Super Monkey. A costume that lets you into the monkey's dressing room to catch the last few monkeys hidden in every level. To master the art of catching monkey, I must become Monkey. Like I said before, the reason why the stages are so wacky is because each level represents a different TV channel, with all kinds of stuff going on. The monkeys are getting into all kinds of stupid antics around the maps, and it really sells the whole TV vibe. I mean, these little bastards are filming infomercials. We're not even safe from capitalism from monkeys! And these levels are a lot bigger than the levels in 2, and they use the extra space very well. Every area within a level has something for you to do. And using every tool and morph at your disposal makes the monkey hunt have the most mechanical depth in the entire series, and figuring out the most efficient way to catch them is part of what makes the gameplay loop so much fun. Every level I unlocked, I got more and more excited just to see where I was going next. I could climb mountains leading to a sky temple, visit castles, frolic through forests, run across a fleet of airplanes, or walk into a bad part of town. I love the stages in this game so much. I had fun in all of them. There honestly isn't a bad stage in this game. Eventually, after all that monkeying around, we make our way to Tomoki City, a super cool futuristic city that kind of reminds me of Grand Metropolis from Sonic Heroes. Except this game is actually good. Anyway, we finally confront Dr. Tomoki, who tells us that the TV brainwashing plan was only the beginning. And after we have our big stupid mecha fight with him, he reveals his tragic backstory. He originally worked with Aki and the Professor.
The Professor?
Will you shut the
Natalie's
hell up? Tomoki worked with Aki and the Professor on the Peak Point helmets, and after a freak accident caused a helmet to get stuck to his head, he has a little bit of a mental breakdown, but to be fair, I would too. And eventually, he joined forces with Spectre to get back at all the people who mocked him, but the twins just feel sorry for him and don't make fun of him at all. The same can't be said for Spectre, who immediately starts laughing his ass off. And once his day one switches up on him, Tomoki decides to help Yumi and Kei stop Spectre's double paradise plan. So we head off to another space station to destroy Spectre's chop rocket, which he plans on using to chop the planet in two. One half for the monkeys, and the other half for the humans. And since he's too stupid to realize that will kill everyone, we have to fight the traditional big-ass robot and have another one-on-one battle with the man himself. And after we catch Spectre, Dr. Tomoki is going to put an end to his plans by deactivating the chop rocket. So he tells the twins to head to the escape rockets, then he'll see him again soon. But he lied. The only way to stop the chop rocket is by initiating the self-destruct sequence in the space station. And while he embraces his little robot son, he makes the ultimate sacrifice to save the world.
Dr. Tomoki!
Good times and bad times, I can count on being with you. I thank you for staying so true.
Huh? He's fine? Oh, okay, good. That's good. At least now we get to sit back and enjoy the credits. Does that say Solid Snake? I neglected to mention before that all three of these games had unlockable minigames. And while some of these are really neat, they're mostly pretty stupid. See? Dumb shit. They're harmless little inclusions that just give you a little bit more playtime, and hey, that's pretty cool. But there's one minigame that really sticks out. Metal Gear Solid. You unlock this after beating the game, and it's a fully fledged mini Metal Gear Solid game in My Ape Escape, with its own little mini plot. Colonel Campbell calls up the Professor to ask for his help in destroying Metal Gear, a Metal Gear designed by chimps. And the Professor says he doesn't get involved with that stuff anymore, which to me implies he might have been involved in war crimes in the past. But I guess we're just gonna blow past that one. Campbell wants the assistance of the so-called simian specialist to help him since Snake has dropped off the map. But all of them are at summer camp, so there's only one solution. The Professor gets Snake's battle data from Campbell and puts it into a little monkey helmet and reprograms an ape's brain into a little clone of Solid Snake. Oh, look at him, he's even got a little mullet. And as a Metal Gear Solid fan, this is actually a lot of fun. It's essentially a condensed parody version of Metal Gear Solid 1. And you get these fun little interactions between Solid and Peepo Snake, and I really appreciate the time and love that was put into this. And I could see this being a great way for younger audiences to try out Metal Gear gameplay for themselves and see if they like it. And that's always a win in my book, because I think that everyone that loves video games needs to play Metal Gear Solid. So a fun little gateway to it is awesome. And I think the coolest thing about this minigame is that it shows just how above and beyond the devs wanted to go this time. And it showed just how much they cared and how they prioritized just having fun for this game. It's a beautiful, creative experience. And sadly, Japan Studio, the team behind the Ape Escape series, closed down in 2021 due to market changes and Sony wanting to focus more on AAA games, and that's honestly really heartbreaking. I like AAA Sony slop as much as the next person, but there was just a certain magic to these old silly games that can't be beat. It's games like Ape Escape 3 that made me fall in love with video games to begin with. Even if I didn't finish the game until I got older, as a kid, this was my Super Mario 64. And even now, it still is. Maybe that doesn't make sense to everybody, but it does to me. And with Japan Studio being shut down, I know the odds of getting any kind of Ape Escape 4 are really low, but with the Peepo Monkeys showing up as cameos every now and then, it reminds me that while the odds are low, they're never zero. And I figured if I wanted better odds, I can maybe do my part and try to bring this series to people's attention. If you can find a way to play these games, go play them. I promise you, you'll enjoy almost every minute of it. And maybe one day, we can get another one of these games if we just keep talking about them. And if you're lucky enough to have 2 and 3 on PS2, for the love of God, do not sell them, because they're kind of hard to find now. So far, Ape Escape 2 has only been ported to PS Plus, which isn't the most accessible for everyone, I understand that. And Ape Escape 3 hasn't been ported at all, so you really want to hold on to that one if you still have it. But Ape Escape 1, you can just buy it now, it's like probably $10. I hope one day that the apes will once again escape. And even if they don't, the series went out with a bang. Ape Escape 3 is easily in my top 10 favorite games of all time, and I was more than happy to share my love of it and the rest of the trilogy with you.
Well, it looks like Spectre got away. Will you help us again?
He got out again?! Hey everybody, it's Loco Logan. Thank you so much for watching this far into the video. If you made it, if you enjoyed it, please consider giving the video and maybe the channel a little bit of love. It is incredibly motivating and helps me just feel better about what it is I'm trying to do here. And also, I know I already said this, but please try to go play these games, and I don't know, let's see if we can get some kind of hashtag going that can maybe encourage these games to get a fourth game, you know, fourth mainline game. There's some weird spin-offs. But these games really helped me get through a rough patch last year, and I wanted to kind of just show how much I enjoyed them by making a video expressing how they made me feel. And this was that video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you guys in the next one. It won't take as long, I hope. And if nobody else has told you today, you're awesome, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate you.